Yo, you know who it is. Griddle's hot, rumors fly, but the bap's still banging. Let's go! I'm the Batman, Belfast, born and bred, flipping fried eggs while they talk on threads. They tweet that beef, but I bring real meat, bacon stacked high. Bap game elite, they chat like they know me, they don't know jack. Talking mad smoke while I'm serving a stack. Hash brown hot with the yolk that runs. I break more fast than 100 nuns. They hate, they try to cancel my stand. Still flipping baps with one greasy hand. False accusations and I ain't shook. My grill speaks louder than 1,000 looks. Yo, I serve baps, not opinions, fam. You want drama? I'm cooking up jam. Code ring to clap back, I'm still the man. You don't like it? Get out of my van. Got pride in my pant, not in picking a side. I feed all people, I don't divide. They say I'm this, then say I'm that. While I'm
I do weddings, I do whatever videography works out there. Used to do photography, don't so much anymore. But yeah, that's the business side of it, and personal side, just working all the time. My life used to be class crack. I used to live in LA, used to have a great time, but now it's all just working as hard as I can.
Or certainly what's perceived as a great time anyway.
Yes.
So growing up, you told me you had a very strict Christian upbringing.
Yes.
And I'm assuming by it's Protestant Christian
Protestant,
upbringing.
yes.
Yeah. What denomination?
Gospel Hall.
Gospel Hall. So brethren.
Brethren.
Okay. So extremely dictatorial and extremely, like, how do you put it?
Set in their ways.
Yeah, set in their ways, and everything's a rule and everything must be followed,
Yeah.
and it's almost like the Pharisees of the Bible, you know.
Yeah.
How was that growing up?
Look, I'm not here to say anything negative about it, because I don't think there is negative about the faith and the way they live their life. Whatever they do for themselves is for themselves. But now, there is two sides to every story, or two sides to every outlook. Like, it works for some people, and for me, it just didn't at that time. Growing up, I wanted to live my life and get out into the world, you know what I mean? Just like every young fella or young girl, they want to get up and live their life.
I think they're obviously trying to protect you from that world.
1000%. And look, I'm not a dad yet, but I know for a fact that I will also be very overprotective of my kids. But the problem is, for me anyway, I found being held back made me rebel even more, and I wanted to go harder. The more they said no, the more I went 10 times harder.
It's personality types.
It is, because my brother was the opposite. They said no and he listened to them, you know what I mean?
So obviously with the strict Christian upbringing, that would require attending church on Sunday several times, because that would include your youth.
Yeah, so it would be like a Sunday service in the morning where it's the breaking of bread and drinking of the wine. That's what you know what that is. Where you go in, they pray for 45 minutes, and then they read say a prayer for the bread. It's the body of Christ, and then the wine is the blood of Christ, and then they would say a little sermon, just talking to the believers. So it was like a congregation in the morning for believers, and the people that weren't believers could still come in and sit at the back seats.
Just
you
not
weren't
partake.
Yes, you weren't allowed to partake in the bread or the wine, that kind of thing. Okay. Then at 3 o'clock it was a Sunday school service, that was an hour long, 3 to 4. And then at night time you went and it was a gospel meeting, and that was another hour.
Picture.
So it was 3.5 hours. The morning meeting was an hour and a half, so it was 3.5 hours on a Sunday. I would have went on a Thursday night to the Bible study, and if there's a series of meetings came, like say Fitna or somewhere, say we're going to have meetings, you'd have been there, and I'd have been there every single night, 5 nights a week.
How did you feel? Did you always hate
I never
these
hated
things, or was it just the fact that you had to be there was the problem?
It's the fact I had to be there. I never hated it. I still, even when I was at my worst stage of trying to run away from it, I never hated it, ever. I always knew there was a truth to it.
Yeah.
I always knew there was a truth to God, and even now, I would say now I have a very, very close relationship with God. I will not label myself as a Christian, because my life doesn't match what I believe someone's life should whenever they have a Christian and faithful relationship with God. Now, everybody's not perfect, but I hold myself I'm very harsh on myself because of the way I was brought up with how your relationship with God should be.
When you hear people say, their life doesn't match that of Christ or whatever, or doesn't match that what a Christian should be. That you remember who Jesus came to the earth and the people that he picked.
I know where you're going.
You know what I mean? The imperfect.
Yeah.
And
They were the worst of the worst. He picked.
and he used them for greatness. So like, you know, wherever you're at, you can be met in your journey. You know, it's not a case of that you're not a Christian. You know what I mean? If you have a close relationship with God, you're a Christian. Yeah. If you've asked for forgiveness, etc. You know.
Yes, I'll go there. Yeah, if you've asked for forgiveness and you've made a change and you've taken God and Jesus into your life, yes.
It's he's primary then. Yes.
You're a Christian for that state. Yeah. I just haven't done that.
Yeah.
So
well,
I know where I stand in the situation now. Do I pray every day? No. Do I pray when I need to pray? Yes. Which I know is the difference. Because I'd see my old man get up in the morning and I'd be praying in the morning, reading the Bible in the morning.
Almost like just routine.
Routine. Yeah. It's like me going to the gym every day.
But routine is king.
You know
what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think because I had a very similar experience to you growing up with a strict Christian background. I wasn't brethren, but still strict Christian. And, you know, all these things that you say, like my dad would have had like daily devotionals to himself. He would have read his big word for the day and always had set aside time for the Bible, etc. And I thought it was ridiculous and all the rest. But like we're saying, routine is king. It's, you know, spiritual training. Mm. You know, like every day it's not that a spiritual training for himself. So whilst you were running away from all this, obviously the rebellion point, what was the age you started to?
Well, just to put it in sort of perspective, like it wasn't just like, I wasn't allowed to, you know, go to nightclubs and bars and drink. It was, you weren't really allowed to go to, well, I won't say it wasn't allowed, but it was again, like my dad wouldn't have been overly happy going to, if I went to the cinema and things like that. So it was like, at 16 I would have snuck out and went and done that. And to me that was a big deal, do you know, like getting to go to the cinema. So that was just a small way of getting out of there. But then at 18 I left and went to Liverpool. And I remember the first week there, I'd never drank before.
For university?
The first week there, yeah. And for the first week of Freshers Week, I passed out every single time because I had no idea how to control it. I hold a lot of the lack of my ability to control alcohol at 18, 19, because I was the kind of kid that I beat it into myself 100 times over before I'd learn. Do you know what I mean? Like I had it because I was, in my way, I think, because I was sheltered so much.
You had no experience of it whatsoever.
I had no experience of anything. It wasn't even like I had no experience how to conduct myself in a lot of aspects. Now it wasn't like, don't get me wrong, it wasn't insanely sheltered. I was allowed to go out with my friends and do things.
What do you mean though, outside of like church environments? It was very hard to interact because there was parameters there that you weren't familiar with.
Yeah, and like I remember when they were all hanging out the first week there, and they were all hanging out on the floor having pre-drinks, and I was there uncomfortable, not knowing what to say, head down, shy, because I didn't know how to. Like, I was like, this is so new. Like, they've all done this for 2-3 years. So they're just fine. But for me, it was, like, really weird. And then people would have thought I was weird because I was like that. And I was probably pretty weird, like, to be honest.
Well, to the world,
To the world, 100%. It was a strange experience. But it just got worse. It just, like, I just kept running. And then when I got a taste for it all, because I hadn't been sort of weaned into it.
Were you
slapped into it.
Trying to be accepted? So it was like a mixture of, this is all fucking new and sparkly.
Yeah.
And I want to be like accepted as not this weirdo that goes to the brother.
Yeah.
Type thing. Yeah.
In a way, in an aspect, I was always kind of proud in a way of saying I went to the brother. It was sort of funny. I wasn't like ashamed of that. It never was something where I was like, oh, this is something I'll never tell people. I would always have told them where I go. And
certainly a conversation started.
Yeah, and then people would be like, it definitely got me off on a weird foot with people because they'd be like, well, oh, he's like a religious nut. And people don't like that. A lot of people, it's getting more popular again now though. I do see a lot of people turning to God more recently than it has been over the past 20 years, I would really say.
Well, I think that's... like down to your guy Wes appeared on the Joe Rogan show and said about the gospel and give the historical basis for them, and like it's kind of undeniable at that point.
That's what I don't understand how people can't believe.
Which, you know, brings us back to like, have you not made that decision? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I certainly haven't either, but keeping things on point here.
Yes.
And when you moved to Liverpool, things were on you and all the rest. But did you see this as an opportunity to invent a new you and to like?
I'll be honest with you. I started in a way. How do I put it? It was like, because I didn't like who I was and I didn't really know myself at all, because I hadn't been allowed out to know myself.
Yeah.
I sort of just invented this personality, and I wasn't actually being myself. I was being this fake persona around most people. And it's funny because I became an actor later in life, so it kind of all came, you know, all as one. But it was really weird because it's really difficult to even explain, because in my head I still don't fully understand what happened, and them years were a blur. It was like, it was so fast paced and everything just was so much faster than before, because when I was sheltered everything was like I had nothing to do, and then when I had stuff to do everything went so fast, and I feel like I'm behind in my business and behind in life because of all them years of me just partying, drinking and doing all the stupid things. But it's not so, like, I'm more proud of my background than I am from the years of Liverpool.
Yeah.
1000%. Like, I'd hold my parents are great parents, they always have been.
I think your personality type has clearly had to feel the gutter, or whatever you want to call it, to realise that, you know, there is something bigger. And, you know, like you're saying about constantly busy. Mm-hmm. I'm guilty of that myself, where you're not taking time to appreciate the moment, appreciate the people in the moment. Mm-hmm. And I think the whole world is guilty of that. It's so fast paced, everything just feels like it's moving so quickly, especially with social media and all the rest. There's not enough time to consume everything, there's not enough time to do everything, and while you're trying to do all that, you're neglecting, you know, family, friends, relationships, and like.
It's a funny thing I heard is, you put 100% into the gym, you put 100% into your business, something else is falling off. The family's falling off, the girlfriend's falling off, the kids are falling off.
Yeah.
You can't put 100% into everything. And I think, yes, okay, when you have a business, you need to put a lot into it, but you need to sacrifice some time. You can't have it like, okay, this week I can't see you because I'm busy the entire week. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's how you divide.
It's how you divide, which is hard. Like, it's surprisingly difficult.
It is, but it's also a coping mechanism. Mm-hmm. And going back to your Liverpool years, because we've talked about it like a blur, like it is.
I know.
Do you know what I mean? So, you were there for how many years for?
I was there for 3 years,
Right.
And then studying computer science.
Okay.
Programming.
Okay. And you got the degree, okay? Yes.
Yeah, I got the degree. I have to admit to a lie here, though. I didn't lie here, but I'm going to tell the truth here.
Okay.
I got 0.4% off a first, and I tell everyone I got a first. But I didn't get a first.
Well, it doesn't matter if you miss Spanish. I
don't get it.
You're still this. Like.
I don't tell everyone. I've told a few people I have.
Well, you've now
I've now told everyone I got a 2-1. I'm ready.
Yeah. So how did you?
I don't even use the degree anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Going from, was it an immediate move from Liverpool to Los Angeles, or?
No. So I then went down to Londonderry and studied.
Is that upside Derry?
Yeah, just right beside it. They're both connected, I think.
Okay. Just double checking.
And then I went up there, done data analysis.
Okay.
Dropped out after 3 months and didn't want to do it. Even going to
Sounds boring as fuck.
Do you know what the worst part was? The lecture was on a massive projector screen, and he was teaching in Jordanstown, a full class, and they just filmed him to teach us down in London, or there. Sorry.
Yeah.
Isn't that insane? Like, I was paying $5,000 for this.
For some dude.
For some dude to be on a computer. I could have just sat at home and went and bought a course online.
That is insane.
Isn't it?
So, you went to Londonderry, computer science, didn't like it, or data analysis, who the fuck would like
Some
that?
weird thing. Yeah.
My auntie actually does that analysis.
Does
That's
she?
enjoys it.
Oh
so,
no.
Yeah.
It's alright to your auntie though.
No,
It's like everything.
everybody has their own things. But so from there,
He's eating bananas, by the way. Just in case
I'm an ape.
Yeah, so from there, sorry, you did ask that. Like realistically, I was working in a design company where they made logos. I became a manager in there, and just didn't really. I was up and down from Derry and Londonderry, and I'm just going to say Derry, okay, to keep it simple. Shorter word, isn't that right?
That's it.
And then, I was just working there for a bit, and I'd been working there through like uni in Liverpool as well when I'd come home in the summer and all.
Still gargling like fuck.
No, I wasn't too bad. When I was down in Derry, I wasn't too bad. I wouldn't have went out near as much. I sort of got away from it a lot more. I got away from the drink. But I did.
What was different?
I wasn't terribly bad. Like, it wasn't like I was an alcoholic in Liverpool. It was like I was just
New. Yeah.
I was new to it, and I just wanted to enjoy it, and I just drank and dabbled in other things. But it was not something I really didn't see myself having a problem. Probably did, but just it hadn't developed yet. Do you know what I mean? I feel like an alcoholic's always an alcoholic. It's in your genes. So after Derry, I ended up, what did I do? That was 15, 16, 17, 2019. So 2019, after I finished the degree, I didn't really. That's when I decided, right, I'm going to figure out how to get to America.
Okay. What was the plan, or what was the...
This was the most idiotic, mental and insane thing I've ever done, and because I was young and naive and literally dumb to the world and didn't know how real life worked, I'm glad I was that naive, because see, right now, if I was going to LA the way I was prepared then, I would be shitting myself. Can I swear on here?
I'll go ahead. Well, I've been doing it the whole time. So.
Oh, I didn't even know it. Yeah. I was shitting myself. Like, it was like, I had went and got my visa. They approved it. I could have went down to the embassy in Dublin. Didn't know that existed. So I flew over. And by the way, this took months of work trying to get a visa sorted and everything. Okay. I went over on a B1T1 visa, which is a business travel visa. You're allowed to stay for 6 months. You're not allowed to do any work. Okay. So I went over just with about 10, 12 grand.
Okay.
I'll go over this. Went over and spent about 6 months there. It was a bit of partying, a bit of this, bit of that, but I wasted the time like not working. That's what I'm annoyed about. And the drink over there, I didn't have a problem with. But anyway, I'm going too fast. Come back to the first time. Flew over, landed, had no Airbnb, so nowhere to stay. Okay, yeah. Also, phone didn't work there. Okay. Also, for some reason, my phone didn't connect to the Wi-Fi to get a taxi or an Uber, as I was trying to get. Okay. So I had to grab a taxi and said, first thing I was like, take me to the beach. So he took me to Santa Monica Pier. This was 7 at night. I was like, right, okay. I need to get something sorted to stay somewhere. Like, I don't have nothing sorted. I just booked my flights. So I got there and it goes, right. I was a melt. Like, I went, do you know the wee life huts? On the beach. On the beach. Right, okay. Yeah, so you'll see it on if you ever watched that Australian lifeguard show where they have the wee huts that they stay in? No. Well, it's a wee hut that lifeguards stay in, and it's a flat roof. Okay. So I was like, I have nowhere to go. Like, I can't get anything. Everything was booked up, and things that weren't. Not everything was booked up, but the things that weren't booked up, I was like, that's rough. Like, I don't want to go there. Like, and it was just, wasn't happening. I couldn't get it sorted. And I was like, right, I'm going to sit on top of this hut, bring my suitcase up, lie on it, and just hope no one steals anything. That's
a pretty reasonable line of thinking.
Isn't it?
I think. I mean.
At least I'm glad you're on my side here.
That would totally be my safety assessment.
Yeah. The only thing I was missing. Thanks, man. English isn't my first language. The only thing I was missing, it is, brother.
Was it a weapon of some description?
It was a weapon or a bungee cord to hold me on.
Yeah, that makes sense. While all this is going on, there's a subsidiary story going on as well, though. So how is your brother and family coping with you being sort of
good question
freelance mad bastard?
Okay, so see me going to Liverpool was a disaster. Like, going just Liverpool was a meltdown. Like, they did not want me to go.
Okay.
Understandably, because look what happened when I went.
Yeah, they probably had good foresight.
They had good foresight. Then whenever I was planning to go down to Derry, they were telling me to go to Liverpool back, because they said I'd done well in my degree, I should go back and do my masters there. They were right there as well, because didn't I drop out down in Derry?
Okay.
But I was having a little trouble.
But like, I'm just thinking of like, you book in randomly to go to Los Angeles.
Oh yeah.
Having two very conservative parents who would probably pay everything by check as it comes in full and everything. You know, I know the sort. So like, if they know that that's happening, they're bound to be in hysteria.
They don't know.
Okay, that's okay.
Oh, that's you're getting. Okay,
that's okay. So they just at some point hear from you in Los Angeles going.
When I landed, I had a wee bit of connection to the Wi-Fi in the airport. It was really bad, but I had a wee bit, and I texted them and said I'd landed safely.
Okay.
That's all they got from me. And then that night, I had no connection to the internet, nothing. So I slept up there. But I will say, it was one of the most, I want to say in a way, peaceful moments. It was like lying there looking up at the sky. Now there was no stars, but looking up at the sky. The only thing that was a bit weird was there was a homeless man sleeping right below on the decking of that thing. And there was homeless men all around.
I was going to go there.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to just have some real curveball.
It has been a bit curveball so far anyway, hasn't it?
It has. So, yeah, one of the most peaceful
I'm sweating, by the way, like a cat. Do cats sweat?
I'm actually not, for a change.
Oh, yeah, I think it's this light just looking at me in the eyeball. Anyway, carry on. I'm blinding myself.
So, one of the most peaceful nights, I'm sure you've done some thinking up there.
Yeah, it was like, what have I done? Why am I here? I've turned my back, and the first thing that came into my mind was, you've turned your back on God, you're lying up here, and it hit me so hard. It was like, God, I felt like God actually spoke to me there. He goes, you've got yourself here, so let's see how you do. And it was tight going the first 2 weeks. I got myself a hostel to stay in for a couple of weeks, because I ended up finding this house. Their address is 153 Roselawn Place. Can't mind the last bit of it, but it's weird that it stays in my head. I do remember it, but now I can't. And I got that house 2 weeks later, but I was staying in this hostel anyway. I was lying in one of the beds, and I was lying just thinking, the curtain closed because it was a bunk bed, and there was loads of rooms in the hostel. It was actually really fancy, really nice. And you had free cereal in the morning and stuff. It was pretty good.
Get amongst that, like?
What's that?
I can get amongst that. Any breakfast bobs?
There was no breakfast bobs. Don't know anything about them over there. So I had the curtain closed, and I was texting back home to Dad and called him and said, I'm sort of feeling a bit crap. I'm annoyed I came here. And I can't remember what they said back, but I sort of was feeling really defeated. I'd come out, and the first week I'd felt kind of nearly and just lonely, like really, really lost and lonely. And I was thinking all this and how sad I was, and next thing I heard this weird, just strange noise to the left of me. And I pulled open a curtain, and the other curtain in the bed beside me was wide open, and two people were riding. And I just went to my curtain, alright, okay, and just pulled it back close. Swear on my life that happened. They were sitting beside me and they were riding. And it's, over there is the most, like the hostels were insane. And I was like, right, that was the moment where I was like, I need to get out of here.
You would kind of need to get out of that point.
Yeah, I need to leave. Because that's in the same room.
Unless of course it's like a throw your keys in the football situation.
No. No keys in football.
Okay. So you were in the hostels for how many weeks?
Well, for that hostel, I think I stayed there. I could have stayed there for 9 weeks. I could be wrong on that. It could be a few days, 3 or 4 days, maybe. Okay. And then I moved to a different room because I just went to the guy and I was like, can I get out of this room, please? And he was like, why? And I was like, walk in. And the guy walked in and he goes, oh yeah, I'll bring you to another one. Okay. He brought me to another one. Now, it was a nice hostel, but it was like, yeah, it was just people were over to have a good time. It was, you would stay there if you were going to party in LA.
Secure a house then?
So, I had went and visited another place on that day, one of the days I'd been there, like got a train, got there, visited this place and told them I was interested. He says, well, it's not free. So I went over it would have been like the 26th of August, let's say. And he says, it's not free until the 1st of September. So I was staying in hostels and bouncing about a wee bit from different places up until then, but I'd visited like the second day I was there, and
so you knew it was on the
I knew
horizon,
it was coming.
Okay.
So at least I knew that. But it was a house with 30 people in it, and I paid $500 a month for it. It was all bunk beds, so in each room there was 4 bunk beds.
Okay.
And I was I was staying on the top bunk of one of the beds, and this wee girl was like, "Oh no, I'm moving to another bed. You have that one." And I was like, "Why on earth is this?" Yes.
In the house you bought, or in the hostel,
Oh, I didn't buy a house.
or the house that you were living in?
The house, not the hostel. So we're moving out of the hostel into a 4 times bigger hostel, but it wasn't actually. It was kind of a hostel, but it wasn't. So it's called an artist house. So all these artists come, and people that do photography, acting, all this, and they come to this house.
Okay.
It's just it's a glorified hostel.
Some interesting hair colours.
Oh well, it actually wasn't. This was 5 years ago. Remember,
Oh, okay.
It wasn't just so bad. There was one, yeah, but she was quite nice. But she was mental too, like.
Okay,
She
so
tried to slip me pills many times.
right. Okay.
I didn't take them, like.
So-
because she was mental.
You weren't essentially living alone then?
No, so that was the good thing. So
Yeah.
this is why I thought this was good, because I was able to. There was like 20 people here. Got quite good mates with a couple of them. His name's Mike and Phil, both from Boston.
Okay.
Both of them done music. They were really, really sound lads. Mike especially. But in reality, they didn't have as much work ethic either. So all these artists in these houses, none of them were doing anything. There was maybe 1 or 2 that were. The rest were just.
Nobody was proactive.
Nobody was proactive, myself included.
But you become the people you surround yourself with, so.
Exactly. But then it got like to the point. There was a guy from London flew over and moved into the house. His name was Peter, and his girlfriend actually went to uni over there, done a drama degree.
Okay.
And they made a play, and then I started acting in them plays. So that's how the acting stuff came about. But it was
that perceived as work on your visa, or?
It would have been if they'd have seen it, but then I was going around taking photos and stuff as well, and then I was working for a Jewish bakery also.
Okay.
So what was
Making bagels.
what was I making? I wasn't making anything. I was just selling like cake and like stuff. I couldn't. I remember they let me draw like happy birthday in the cake once, and then it just goes never do that again.
Okay. Crying moment.
Yeah. But it was a great experience, but there was some it's a very sad place to live. I learned over time, like if you have good people around you, it's fine. I did find eventually good people. I got a nice girl over there. She was a great girl, but obviously I had to fly home after the murder. But anyway, it was like there was just good people and a lot of good people, but I remember going, right, I'm going to go have a fag when I used to smoke, and I nearly got my head ripped off me by a wee tiny girl this size because I'd said the word fag, but I was talking about a cigarette, like,
Yeah.
and she was like, excuse me, and I was like, that's a cigarette, like, we call it a cigarette over here.
Yeah.
And I was so dumbfounded because I wasn't really that overly aware at that point of anything like that. And she was not happy with me at all, man. Like, genuinely, she was like, don't ever say that again. Like, really condescendingly talking to me. And I was like, I understand, maybe you don't get it, but like,
It just means cigarette.
it just means cigarette. I'm not trying to slag you. And she said she was a lesbian, but she was kissing loads of guys. So I don't know what was happening. I don't know what was going on there.
Okay, that's just a whole other world altogether.
It is, isn't
So, the people you surround yourself with, you still manage to get addicted to alcohol somewhere along the line. So
Yes.
where did that start?
That was after LA, mate.
Okay.
So when I came home from LA, it got to the point where I don't know, I just was so depressed because I was living in LA. Like I was sort of shitting on it a bit there, but there's so much beauty to it, and that lifestyle of being able to live out there, have Hollywood at your doorstep.
It's like a fantasy almost.
It's a fantasy. You're just living like it is the dream. I'm sorry, it is the Hollywood dream. Like when I was like, I wasn't living in that house all the time. I moved out to Koreatown, had a real nice place we lived at. Like there was I made a movie out there, like filmed a movie. I've done loads of things that were creative. I feel like I shot myself a bit, saying I wasn't working hard. But once I moved out of that house with all them people, my work ethic came in. I started doing acting and theatre, and got loads of stuff, like loads of accolades, and really I'm proud of myself.
Obviously, your visa ran out. Did you overstay it?
No, I didn't overstay my visa.
So that's why you came home?
That's why I came home.
So the price and...
Well, I came home to see Mum as well, because I think at that point she wasn't doing so well. So I was considering staying longer and overstaying the visa. But I came home more to see her, and then I thought I'd already been in talks with a lawyer to get something sorted for me, because I was doing quite well with different bits and pieces over there.
Okay.
And we were like trying to figure something out how to get me back, but then COVID hit, and then so that was like I came back in February 2020, and
That's start for living, pretty much, for
yeah,
a lot of people.
yeah, and it was like I was living in my granny's house. She I think she hadn't passed away at that point. She was living in a nursing home nearby.
Okay.
And I was her house was given to me. I'm very grateful for that. Like nobody gets that like now. But, like imagine not having to pay for a house.
That's
That's
pretty nice.
Big step up, isn't it?
Yeah, it certainly
so
is.
I'm very grateful for that. Like I'm not trying to shy away and be like, oh, I have this horrible upbringing. Look, my dad worked his ass off. He made relatively good money. I never had to ask for anything. He was the best dad ever. If I needed something and he could help me, he would do it. Like, he wouldn't, it's not like he was like, oh, you can't do this, but he'd be like, see, when I was going to Liverpool, he said, if you don't go, I'll buy you a car. Like, it was that type of thing. Like, I'm not silver spoon, but I'm definitely not the other way. Do you know what I mean? And sometimes I forget.
But people don't understand, like silver spoon or no silver spoon, like, people's struggles are still real regardless, like the episode last night, everybody's story is individual, so it's still every bit as important as...
Exactly.
It doesn't take away from, because you've had a decent upbringing, doesn't take away from what you've went through or whatever, so, like, you came back, COVID hit, you're living in your granny's, you've just been given that house.
So, living in my granny's, and I was like, right, this is the way I get back. This is the way I get back to LA. I sat depressed for a couple of months, and then I was like, right, I'm going to make a change. I'm going to do something with my life. And I had a mate living with me. I started making YouTube videos, reaction videos. Started making them, and everybody. There was 2 guys in work came to me and he goes, what are you doing? Like, your videos are terrible. It's a disgrace that you're doing this. Like, don't be stupid. Stop it now. And they were like, these were 10, 15 years older than me. Like, really, like, ripping me apart. Like, one of them was my boss.
Okay, so what content were you doing that were so...
It was just the quality. So the first content I started doing was spoken word, like poetry, kind of talk about struggles, mental health, all that thing. Okay. I can show you after some of the stuff. Yeah. It was relatively shit. They were right, like, let's be real. I was a dumbass kid.
Yeah, sometimes you need to hear things.
Yeah, sometimes you need to hear things. So they weren't wrong about it. But it was also like, I never forgot that. And I said, I'm going to show you. And I remember the same guy, when I had 1,000 subscribers within a month, or like maybe 2 months, I had 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, because I uploaded every single day. Yeah. And he goes, that's really good subscribers. And I was just like, And then for me there, that was like, that was enough.
And I see we win.
Yeah, I showed him there. But it wasn't like anything. But in 8 months, I got 8,000 subscribers. And then I was like, this is amazing. Like, it grew so fast all of a sudden. Like, it slowed down after the 1,000 and then blew up in like a space of a few days. I was getting 100,000 views and videos and stuff.
Right, okay.
It was going crazy. And I was like, this is unbelievable. I'm loving this. And like 100,000 views on YouTube is
hard graft.
Is the hardest you'll get. Instagram's difficult. TikTok's a bit easier. YouTube is hard.
Like, there's an algorithm to work with there, and it's strict as sin. So
but I was reacting to damn K-pop stuff. Okay. Like, because I reacted to K-pop, not even inoffensive. I reacted to one video, got 10k views. I was like, reacting all of them. Kept building up. And then under all the comments said BTS Army, because one of the pop groups, or the K-pop groups, were called BTS. And I was like, reacting to these people and not necessarily loving the videos, really,
But they're
acting
fans.
on
Yeah.
to them. And I was enjoying it, but it's not my type of music. Do you know what I mean? It was good music.
Playing to your audience.
You just play to your audience, and that's what YouTube is. The problem is people don't realise that, and then they expect this person to be exactly what they see on that screen, but that screen's an overreaction of what they actually are.
Yeah.
It's just to play to the audience and make I know what works. It's the same with my business now. I know what works on social media. If I told you I'm going to create 8 clips for you, I could get you maybe, I don't know, 100 extra followers with these 8 clips if you do this, and this.
Yeah.
Because it is the algorithm. Now, I'm not saying that's going to work every time, but you just pick it up after a while. And I was just playing off this, but it got me very depressed and very down because I wasn't being real. I wasn't being myself.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
No authenticity.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
So, and obviously it's very insular. You're doing it all inside, and
I was sitting in a computer here, just like you, and a camera just like that, and 2 lights like that, and I was just talking to the camera, and I would switch the camera off, and there was a perfect video on YouTube about this, where the guy's all happy. He gets up, he switches the camera off, and he just face drops. He goes, he adds the video, depressed, goes, gets his coffee.
it's technically mine's always just depressed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, you're happy on the video. Yeah, it's why all these people kill themselves, man. Like, you see all these famous people, or all these YouTubers that are going into, like, therapy, and which is nothing wrong with therapy, by the way. Everyone, I think, should actually do it. I think it'd be a good thing. Not everybody, but I do think if you need it, it's okay. But there's a lot of these, like, Avicii and stuff, killing themselves. It's just...
Well, yeah.
It's just, it is down to, well, it's probably a lot more than this, but that's what I seen from it, and that's what I take from it, because it got me very down, and then I started drinking to escape that, and then I had hundreds of messages every day from people that watched the videos, because I had 8,000 subscribers, but I was getting 100,000 views a day. Like, I had over 1 million views in my whole channel, like a few million actually. I can show you the stats of it, but it's like, they were all messaging me, and it was like just overwhelming. It felt like I'm reliving this now. I haven't thought about this in so long. All these people saying about how depressed they were, they need help, how they wanted to kill themselves, how they weren't happy, and all this flooding into me. And I was sitting going,
Because you were uploading the videos?
No, it was because that was just their life, and they were venting to me because they felt like they could talk to me.
Okay.
Because I'm not a real person in their heads. I'm just this substance of content that I give to them. So because I give them videos and they don't know me, they can tell me anything. People told me their deepest and darkest secrets that I couldn't even, if I shared to you, I'd be insane. Like, it's scary. It genuinely is. The people were saying everything and anything, and this was only at 8,000 subs. But I let this in because I said in every video, if you need me, talk to me. I'm here to help anyone with mental health. So I started with that, and then everybody came because I give that out to help. You know what I mean?
You know, and realistically, that statement, like, it's what help can you offer? Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like,
I didn't realise that at the time.
Bar signposting somebody to, like, services or whatever, like, it's a platitude, really, isn't it? You know, it's just like something to say at the end of the...
Something to say at the end of the video. And look, I'm not saying I didn't mean it. I did mean it. I want people to be helped. I wanted to be able to help people.
I imagine it came from genuine.
It did, but like I even wanted to go... I want to go on stage and talk about mental health and like help people that way, and I've always had that in the back of my head. That's something I want to do in my life, is to talk about mental health, because it's something I've struggled with and a lot of people have. But
so obviously coinciding with the alcohol was mental health struggles.
Yeah.
You know, the words mental health trigger me for some reason. I almost feel like, you know, it's to do with Christian upbringing, because like a lot of mental health issues are brought about through living like a dickhead.
Okay.
They're the result of your sins, pretty much.
That's so right.
And you know, you're having to live through the consequences to learn the lesson. And I think we almost put mental health in a bubble. And it's a buzzword now, but in reality, like, you're actually enabling people a lot with the help that's offered these days. You need people to know to help themselves. You know, like, I can't not be an alcoholic for you, and you can't not be a cokehead for me or whatever. Yeah. It's not like you can't do something for somebody else. So it's maybe a controversial way of looking at things, but I think like a lot of mental health problems are derived from shit lifestyle, shit attitude, and shit reaction to life's things that throws in front of you.
I'll be completely honest with you, I didn't look at it. I looked at it in some of them ways, but the way you say it is mental health is a repercussion of the actions you've done in your life that you now have to live with. I've never thought about it that way, and that's a nail on the head. Because you wouldn't have mental health issues unless you had, something happen against you in your life.
There's traumatic things that can happen, yes.
Or you've done stuff that make you feel guilty and bad and annoyed.
That's why you're losing sleep. That's why, and even take away nefariousness from it. So if you're lying in bed to 12 o'clock in the afternoon, you have no job, you just get up and you watch whatever is on terrestrial TV these days, and, you eat shit and have a wank and go to sleep. If you do that repetitively, how are you not going to have mental health problems?
That's facts.
If you're doing fuck all for yourself, don't expect to be in a good mental place. You need to be getting up at a good time, you need to be looking after your body, you need to train the body, you need to train the mind, you need to train the spiritual side of things. There's so many aspects to have a holistic life.
What do you think is more important, training the body or training the mind?
Train the mind.
I think so.
Training the body to train the mind.
There we are.
To be honest, because only through training the body and through obviously improving health and your brain firing on all cylinders is where pure clarity mind comes in, and then that's where training of the mind comes in. So yes, so training the body to train the mind, the two definitely do go hand in hand. Mm-hmm. So you're clearly not an alcoholic now.
I'm always going to be an alcoholic.
There's that out there, but you're not drinking now currently.
Well, I'm going to be I'm open and honest on this. I fell off 4 days ago again. Been clean since then. But I didn't have the same want to do it again. Do you know what I mean?
Well, you're saying the most addicts mess themselves up on. Just because you fucked up doesn't mean you have to continue to fuck up.
Exactly.
You can stop again, and that's...
You can literally stop the day.
You're still recovered, you just had a wee... wee fart.
I know what you mean. Well, look, I've only been trying to be sober for this past 2.5 months. Before that I wasn't trying. Not 2.5, maybe 1.5.
Well, how much were you drinking?
It depends. But I wasn't terrible. I would say I drank every day almost for this past 2.5 years.
Solely in the evening or what?
It started that way.
Yeah. Like every good pension does?
Yeah, it's sure I'll just have it in the evening.
Okay.
When I say nearly every day, there could have been a week's space of on holidays with my family, or it could have been 2 or 3 days space. But see, since January this year, I would have drank up until about 2 months ago consistently every day. My business went down the toilet.
What changed in you?
Something happened in my life that I haven't told anyone yet.
Feel free to tell us all.
Can't do that
on
yet.
Tenderhooks.
I'm sorry to do that to you.
Okay, well,
this is the one thing that I can't. Yeah,
we can kind of guess. But so moving on swiftly. So yes, you were confronted with reality, basically.
Yeah, and it's just that was to me. It was well, look, I've been trying to quit before that happened, and I've always knew I'll never have a good business if I keep drinking. I'll never have a good relationship if I keep drinking. I've lost many relationships because of alcohol. I've lost a relationship I'm not close to my mum and dad, and I always blamed that because of we're just different. It's not that.
You never put effort in?
I never put effort in. I didn't care. And that's the genuine truth. I couldn't care. I didn't want to sit down and talk to them. I would come home, say I'd been working on Lidl, I'd come home from Lidl, I'd have the 2.5 litre of Frosty Jacks in my bag, a bottle of cranberry juice, sugar free, so that I could mix it with it.
But,
and then,
that's every addict, whatever their addiction may be, is that's the be all and end all. And anything around it is just to facilitate that.
Yeah.
And the minute people start questioning your potentially or whatever, then they soon get put out of your life, or you know. But you certainly should not feel guilty for things that are now past. And if you're, yes, it's a very short period of time, 2.5 months, but I can see that you are genuine in your like decision making process, you know. So I feel like you're going to stick to the plan. You know, the alternative is shit.
Well, look,
Well, like the alternative is never give you anything; it's taken away.
aye, 100%. There's no good comes from it. A year ago and 2 months ago, I got shredded for a photo shoot. Absolutely shredded to the bone.
Seen the picture?
And I say shredded to the bone. It was pretty good. I could have been better. Do you know why I could have been better?
Drink?
I was cutting my calories and drinking a bottle of vodka. Like, I was drinking half bottle of vodka. And the reason I was drinking half bottle of vodka was because there was less calories in it than any other drink. And I was drinking that straight with a sugar-free whatever. And I was doing that while I was getting shredded, still going to the gym, still working. But I was a deputy manager at this time. I was working 50 hours a week. I was going to the gym. I was eating the right food. I was cutting the calories of the food, but I was still finding that alcohol time.
Yeah.
I was racked. I couldn't sleep right. I was hungover every morning, but I didn't feel hungover anymore.
Yeah, well, it's because it becomes normal.
Yeah,
you know
it's just
what I mean?
your body gets used to it.
And it's scary when it becomes just normal and taken over. So now you've had a few months of clarity of mind. I know from experience that the first month or so it's fantastic. It's almost like a drug in itself. Just having like clear thoughts, clear emotion. The dreams may not be the best, but you know,
or the sweats.
yeah. But it's certainly a just journey, and it's something certainly worth putting all your energy into. But like, we started the podcast talking about division of time and like between family and friends and work and all the rest, and like having known you about 4 weeks in total, like your work ethic is insane, and there is no way that the rest of your life doesn't suffer because of that. You know what I mean? You're helpful to a fault. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I know that, because even with, thank you, I appreciate you saying that, by the way.
I mean, like, you were on voice messages with me at all hours of the morning telling me how to work with the computer, like, you know, so, and to me, like, yeah, that's helpful, but like, it's taking away your time, do you know what I mean? And that's, you're working a little, you're doing this, you're doing that, so, and I know it's also a coping mechanism currently, because it's like distracting you from not
As
drinking.
busy as humanly possible is where I am right now. If I have a moment, I had a client split a break where I wasn't able to film my client today.
Okay.
And I was like, instantly thought, I could go grab a beer here. Like, I could have a couple. I'd go down to this podcast and they wouldn't even know. They wouldn't even tell. But of course you would tell.
You get into the way, I think. Kidding yourself too, though. It's like, you're not going to do it, like.
No.
You're not going to do it now. You've made your decision.
Yeah.
You're a fucking man. Like, you've made your decision, and you're going to stick to it, and you're going to stick by it.
Exactly.
And it's certainly not too late to repair relationships with family, etc. You know, not that they're bad, but improve.
Improving. I do think, like, alcohol. I've lost a lot with alcohol. Lost very close people because the way I've treated them, because I'm an asshole. Like, you just, when I drink, I'm not as nice as I am right now. It's a side effect of me drinking. I'm drinking for so long. I think it's like the pettiness comes out, the hatefulness comes out, and it's like,
At least it's only drink with you.
it's just you. But like, this is, and you're not the first person to say that I'm too nice. Actually, my girlfriend Sarah, she's always said this. She goes, "Why are you nice to everyone?" She says, "It makes me feel less appreciated." And I was like, "What do you mean? I'm just being nice." So like, she's like, "Yeah, but you shouldn't. Being too nice is..."
She's right.
There's a kill in that too.
She's right, and you know, too nice to a fault, because you'll never not give away your time if you think you're helping somebody.
Yeah.
But what about you, and what about the people around you first and foremost? You know what I mean? And the reality slap that happened is that's what's going to have to happen. Do you know what I mean? So, like, what gets me through the day is I have like set routines, and I know what I have to do, and when I have to do it. And there is time generally for most things. Yeah.
I always say this. I know we talked about how life's so fast and not having enough time. You've nothing but time, especially when you're an alcoholic or a recovered alcoholic. You realise how much damn time you actually have. Because when you're free time, you're like, oh, I'll have a drink. No. Do you know what I mean? Like,
or if you sit and like watch bullshit on Netflix or whatever, you've got free time.
Of course you do. And there is a necessary. Like today, I was up. I didn't get up that early. I got up at like 8:30, and went in the computer, done a few videos for people, went and made my breakfast, had some food, and decided, I'll go train. No, I'll not bother. I'll set my gimbal up because I got a new gimbal. Set a few things up, and I was sort of figuring about, and I found myself. I went and done a few bits of work with a client, and then I went back home. And I was figuring about it a wee bit, and I was like, I'm just messing this day about. Like, I'm not actually doing anything. I feel like I am.
You're busy in yourself.
Yeah, I was just busy myself to busy myself.
So obviously to bring like awareness, it's not the mental health. I think really it's the silent killer in this country, which is alcohol, and it's just so ingrained in every aspect of our culture, where it's just like, oh, he just enjoys a wee drink, whereas he's maybe fucking necking 2 bottles of vodka a night, and
there has been times where that's happened.
Yeah, but it's obviously it's not going to be the same in a Christian family, but as a society as a whole, we accept drink as just like, oh, it's just a wee drink, whereas like, like where's the help there? Do you know what I mean? Like if you're going to be like, oh, he just enjoys a wee drink. Like, nobody's ever really addressing the drink problem, and it's just, it destroys so many families in this country.
It's funny you say that, because whenever I'm out and I've got 2 monitors and I've got a TV up at the top right, so if I'm doing something that's not to do with sound, I can like throw a show on, have the background noise as I'm working on photos or whatever. Yeah. And I was just sitting going, I'd love a wee drink. I looked up and an ad came up and there was Stella Artois, and I was just like, fuck me, it's always there. Like, like you said, it's pushed in this country. It's like, and maybe this could be one of the worst countries for it.
Well, I think every country is as bad as the other, and I think we all seem to be looking to solve a spiritual problem with like a chemical solution, and it doesn't work. You have to work on yourself, and you have to understand what trajectory your life is taking, and make the necessary adjustments to get there. So.
And if you have a problem, figure out what triggers the problem. Like, for example, the alcohol. The trigger for me was, what I figured out is when I was younger, I didn't feel accepted because I cast the black sheep of the family. But I was accepted. But in my head, my messed up head, I felt like I wasn't. So then over time, I tried to be accepted, but then I was trying to be accepted with a character that wasn't actually me. So then I was never actually accepted because I was using this persona. And then I started to drink and even like through the uni, through everything, even on YouTube, it was always a persona. And then only this past few years after the YouTube thing did I just really start to try and learn myself. But then when I started drinking, that completely shelled that. So I'm learning myself now.
Yeah.
I don't know who I am. Does that make sense?
It does make total sense.
Which is scary.
It only makes sense to an addict though. Because you're like coming out into the world again fresh. You've never experienced it this clear. So and I guarantee you more people are gravitating towards you now than they were previously, etc. Because you're not a dickhead.
Yes.
And you instantly start reaping the rewards of your good work. And I think the important thing to take away from your story is, like anything, there's always hope. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not like you get into these very dark cycles where you think there's no way out because you've been doing it constantly for the sake, familiarity breeds contempt. You don't think there's any way out, but it's as easy as making a decision. Do you know what I mean? Like, and following through with it, and 100%. Being present daily and doing it over and over and over again.
And prioritising what's the important thing. Like, drink could be there for you, and like that's what you want to do it. But there's 101 things up here. There's nothing below it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's the one thing that's going to be. I know for a fact when I told people, I started telling people this about 3 months ago at work. I told everyone, I said, I'm telling everyone, so I'm held accountable.
Yeah.
And I was ashamed for so long. Didn't want to tell. When I told everyone, it was like telling them I was getting married. You know what I mean? I was telling them a good news. It was like they thought, oh my goodness, he's an alcoholic. But I thought, oh, I've told them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the main thing I found that people said to me, you don't look like an alcoholic. And I was like, give me a few more years and I'll look exactly what you think an alcoholic would look like.
Aye.
You know what I mean?
Aye. And I mean, what does an alcoholic, you know?
I know, exactly, true.
What does an alcoholic look like?
But in their head, someone
many
took their
shapes and sizes, the same as the carbon addicts, the same as cocaine addicts, the same as whatever addicts. Like that, you know, they're not created in the game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like they're individuals too. They've most likely suffered great trauma. That's why they're in that situation. You know, get to find out the story, and that's how you can get to the source of help. You know what I mean?
When did you get sober?
2020.
Yeah, man. Start of COVID, the hardest time to get sober.
Yeah.
And what made you decide to?
Just being lonely, to be honest. I'd been living so much like an asshole that nobody was being around me anymore, so that was it. Made a decision, and obviously still have slip-ups, like I said, but I don't concentrate on them.
Yeah.
Just keep going forward. And
That's the biggest issue. If you slip up and then fall in and keep slipping up the next day and the next day, that's when it all comes back.
well, look, just to bring this to a natural close, just thank you very much for joining us today. Everybody that's watching on YouTube, if you could subscribe and like, you might get a smile out of me someday.
He smiled at me a few times here. I think I might be funny, you see.
This is true.
I just want to also say, mate, thank you so much for having me on.
Not a
It means a
problem.
lot. And I do also want to say to everybody I've spoke about back there, especially my family, my parents, this is not anything negative about them. This was
Just your story.
just my story, and they were the best parents I could ever have asked for. They were amazing, and through me doing all the shit that they told me not to do, I now have more struggles. So if I'd have just listened to them, they do know a lot. If you just listen to your parents' kids, I mean, majority of the time.
There is truth in that. But thank you very much.
No worries, mate.
All the
Thank you.
best.